Hi everyone, and welcome to this tutorial bite for Oxygen Not Included, where we're running through duplicant skills and morale. As I mentioned in my tutorial bite on duplicants, dupes have both attributes and skills. Here's a reminder of the attributes which affect how quickly dupes can do tasks. These are leveled up as they do them, but are also increased when taking skills. In addition to this, some skills give dupes specific abilities they cannot get any other way. The skills menu is found at the top of the screen, and the hotkey is J. This shows the skill tree, and note that they are different between the base game and the spaced out DLC. I'll run through the base game first and then point out the differences. The first skill is digging, and this is a very important skill. Each tier allows digging through harder substances. Both tiers 1 and 2 are required to fully expand the colony. Therefore, I'd recommend getting these as soon as possible. Tier 3 is of less use, but is still required for digging through diamond and obsidian, so you should get this on digger specialised dupes. The building skills only give attribute bonuses and so are of limited benefit, but the demolition skill allows dupes to deconstruct the gravitas buildings found around the map. Although this is only needed very infrequently, it's still a good idea to have a dupe with this skill. Farming is only really of use for the crop tending skill, which allows dupes to use the farm station to grow plants more quickly. I personally tend to avoid this, however, as I rarely use the farm stations because of the time it takes to do so. Onto ranching, both skills are extremely useful and allow dupes to tame critters which have a wide range of benefits. Although the first ranching skill is the only one required for all the ranching tasks, the husbandry bonus from Critter Ranching 2 is very valuable. This is because the husbandry attribute is the hardest to increase, as the incubator lullabying task is the only way to do so. Grooming does not increase the husbandry attribute. Cooking tier 1 is required for the use of both the electric grill and the gas range, while cooking 2 only gives an attribute bonus. If you have the means to produce the ingredients for better quality food, then you will need enough cooks to match this. The decorating skills allow dupes to make artworks in the form of sculptures or paintings. These are used to increase decor, and dupes will make artworks in either crude, mediocre, or master quality, which is dictated by the skill tier. Therefore, the skill is best used as an all or nothing, and only master artists should be allowed to do decorating tasks. I would recommend disallowing all other dupes from doing decorating tasks in the dupe priority menu. Research is critical to early colony development and so should be prioritised. Advanced researching is needed for supercomputer usage, which unlocks most of the research tree. The second tier skill allows for geyser analysis, and this is certainly useful to have. Tier 3 unlocks virtual planetarium usage and so is required to complete the text tree for rocketry. You will only need 1 or 2 dupes focused on research. Rocket piloting is a late game skill in the base game and is obviously required to fly rockets. The extra 10% speed that is gained from Rocketry 2 is a must-have, so ensure all pilots get this. How many pilots you have should match the number of rockets you intend to run. Carrying and suit wearing skills are the most universal skills, and if you have the morale, then I would recommend getting these on every dupe. Carrying skills allow dupes to grab material in much larger quantities. The first tier gives plus 400 kilo carrying capacity, and the second doubles this, meaning dupes are much more efficient at construction supply and tidying. The suit wearing skill counteracts the athletics penalty for using suits, meaning dupes can run much faster with suits equipped. Assuming you're using suits extensively, which I would highly recommend, this is valuable for all dupes. For tinkering, the first tier only gives an attribute bonus, and the second tier allows microchip crafting for generator tune-ups. I personally don't use these as it requires refined metal, but the tier 3 skill allows dupes to construct buildings for conveyor rails and solid material shipping. Definitely have a few of these dupes in the late game to build these for you. Doctoring has limited uses but can come in handy. The first tier grants apothecary usage, which can be useful for making radiation pills or curative tablets to cure food poisoning. The second tier allows sickbay usage, which is used to treat slime lung, so it could potentially be useful. The third tier is practically useless, as it is only used for treating zombie spores, which are very uncommon. Lastly, the tidying skill gives strength, which is useful, but the plumbing skill is valuable as it allows dupes to empty pipe segments using the command. This avoids spilling liquids, so I'd ensure my colony has a few dupes with this skill. Jumping over to the spaced out DLC, there are some slight changes to the skill tree. As you may have noticed at the top, there's an extra digging tier, however this is only used to decorium, which is only produced in nuclear reactor meltdowns. Only get this skill if required. There's also a small change in the farming skills, in that Crop Tending 2 now enables use of the Botanical Analyzer, but the main changes are in the researching skills and the piloting skills. As Rocketry is available much earlier on in the Spaced Out DLC, piloting becomes a Tier 1 skill, with piloting 2 becoming Tier 3. The research changes mean that the astronomy skill becomes a Tier 2 skill, and is still needed to use telescopes to discover the star map. For Tier 3, the atomic research skill is required for materials research, and the orbital research allows virtual planetarium usage for orbital research. It's important to have 1 or 2 dupes which can do this. The last thing to mention about skills is that there are also hats available for dupes to wear depending on which skills they've learned. Although these are purely cosmetic, They do look pretty cool and can help you tell your dupes apart at a glance. Now the second key topic to cover is morale, and this is important because for every skill a dupe learns, their morale requirement increases. A dupe's current morale requirement and morale level are shown on the left in the skills menu. Tier 1 skills add 1 to the morale requirement, Tier 2 skills add 2, and so on, up to the max Tier 5. If a dupe's morale is lower than their requirement, then their stress will start increasing unsustainably. Bear in mind that their morale can fluctuate also, so I'd recommend leaving a safe margin rather than matching these exactly. This is particularly important for pilots in the Spaced Out DLC, as rocket interiors and other planetoids are unlikely to be able to match the level of morale supplied by your main base. If morale requirements are too high, or you've misskilled, you can reset a dupe skill point in a skill scrubber. Your dupes won't lose any skill points from doing this. So having covered the skills that increase the morale need, I'm going to talk through the common ways to get your dupes morale from the simplest to the most difficult. The easiest way is through dupe interests, and these are clearly shown when choosing dupes at the start or through the printing pod. In the skills menu, they're shown as hearts, and taking any of these skills gives +1 morale, which counteracts some of the morale requirement. This is why I have a strong preference for dupes with 3 interests, as they can have a more diverse skill pool later on. Room bonuses are also a simple way to get morale, but only 4 room types give a bonus. Dining rooms, either mess halls or great halls, give +3 and +6 respectively. Parks and nature reserves similarly give +3 and +6. Sleeping areas are either barracks or bedrooms, and these give +1 or +2 respectively. And finally, bathrooms are either latrines or washrooms, and again give +1 or +2. Note that the recreation room itself has no inherent morale bonus. I will cover rooms in more detail in a separate tutorial bite. Food is the next easiest way to get morale, and the amount gains depend on the food quality. Here I've laid out the food by their quality rating. Grisly food at the bottom gives -1 morale, terrible gives 0, poor gives +1, standard gives +4, good is +8, great is +12, and finally both superb and ambrosial give +16. The last categories to cover are recreational buildings and decor. Each recreational building gives a temporary morale bonus for a short period of time, and these vary from building to building. I won't go into each one here, as the benefits are shown in the building card. But because they use power and or resources to provide the morale, I would consider other ways first. For decor, the morale bonus depends on the dupe's average decor each cycle. If below 0 there's no penalty, and above that the bonuses are as follows. 0 to 30 gives +1, 30 to 60 gives +3, 60 to 90 gives +6, 90 to 120 gives +9, and over 120 gives +12. To get decor this high can take a significant amount of time sweeping and building artworks, and the morale benefits aren't that large. Therefore, I consider this a far less efficient way of getting morale. I will also cover decor in its own tutorial bite. So this concludes an overview of the skills and morale system for Oxygen Not Included. Hope that you found this informative, and thanks for watching.